What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 680 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB, coming at you from the Red Dungeon Underground Studios to, unfortunately, lay to rest Red October 2024. We're going to break down everything that happened in this series. I'll let you know why this episode is a little delayed. You can probably hear it in my sinuses. Plus some odds and ends. We have a nice fun announcement on this show that I'm pumped about to bring to the people. And a quick update, too, for all of our Spotify listeners. Late on Friday, we got an email from Spotify saying that they are working on fixing an issue with getting updates to podcasts that are fed through SoundCloud, which this show is, to Spotify. There's an issue. I'll read the email verbatim for everybody to keep it all transparent. But all of our Spotify listeners, Spotify said they wanted to make us aware of an issue that may temporarily impact how your content appears on Spotify. They've recently uncovered an issue with SoundCloud that they're investigating and working quickly to address. For now, Spotify is unable to receive updates to new or existing podcasts hosted through SoundCloud, which Underground Sports Philadelphia's main podcast is. This means any new changes made to your podcast from SoundCloud, including the publishing of new episodes, will not be reflected on Spotify until this is resolved. They hope to have everything up and running again soon. Thanks for your patience and understanding. That came at about 5:35 on Friday. As you can tell, this episode is dated for Wednesday. It's when it was supposed to happen. That's what I do to keep my brain going. But yes, Spotify listeners, I apologize if you're not seeing this episode or any episode of this show or Guzman's Gridiron that pops up on our feed for the foreseeable future. We will keep you updated as soon as it is restored and fixed. But Apple Podcasts, you're in the clear. YouTube, watch the show on YouTube if you're a Spotify listener. That is definitely one way to help us in the time being. But we're going to talk about Red October coming to an abrupt close, and just what the hell happened with this team, and how poetic it is that as soon as it came to a close, I got a brutal sinus infection that knocked me out big time. So I'm back kind of on the mend, hopefully, and we'll keep things going, and on to covering the Eagles, the Flyers, and the Sixers until pitchers and catchers. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn. Follow Underground Sports Philadelphia. It really helps us when you guys follow the accounts, interact with us, and do, what fans do, and that's interact with content from creators you enjoy, and I appreciate all the love and support on this show big time. You can also now, along with following us on social media, leave us a voicemail at our SpeakPipe. No free ads, but that's the site we're using. SpeakPipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave us a voicemail. The line is always open. Voicemails just have to be 90 seconds or less, and you can tell us all your thoughts on anything going on in Philly sports, whether it's Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, Union, Wings, Water Dogs, college football, whatever it may be. Leave us a voicemail. Get interacted and involved in the show, and we will feature said voicemails on future episodes. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. It really does help the show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and allows us to do more dope stuff with and for you guys. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show typically twice a week. You'll get 2 episodes of this show twice in a day, because I'll be recording this on Sunday night, and I'll be recording the typical Sunday episode when I get home from my day job to talk about that Eagles game, talk about the Flyers, and a whole lot more. But typically, new episodes drop every Monday and Thursday in your podcast feeds and on our YouTube channel of this show. So subscribe, leave a like on the video, drop a comment down below. We're 151. We're the original Pokemon Pokédex away from 1,000 subscribers. I think starting on Monday, we're going to start tweeting pictures of every Pokemon, counting down until we get to 1,000 subscribers. I think that's going to be a fun little exercise there. And if you know, that means you're listening to the show, and that means you'll know exactly what we're talking about when we tweet it. So, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast feed. You can also follow me on social media at KBIZZL311 on Twitter and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. And, of course, guys, this show is presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are gathered here today. Let me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Phillies fans of all ages, we are gathered here today to unfortunately put an abrupt rest to Red October 2024. One of our worst nightmares became a reality, and I genuinely don't know how to describe it. The Philadelphia Phillies lose in the National League Division Series to the New York Mets, the McDonald's Mets. 3-1. They were the only team who just flat out failed to show up. Nearly every other team in this division series has given at least a fight in their series, has shown up and shown a little chutzpah. The Phillies did it in one game, and it was game 2. Ironically, I was at that game. It leaves me speechless because this team is too talented. They're too good to go out like this, and to go out like that is embarrassing. It was an embarrassing loss, to say the least. I am flabbergasted at the way that they went out. They showed no guts. There was 2 guys offensively that showed anything on this team, and even at moments, Bryce Harper had his moments of very bad. Nick Castellanos was the only guy that really showed up in this series. Bryce Harper hits that home run and has some hits in this game, in this series, that got his average to 333. Nobody else on this team that was playing at a full-time capacity, meaning they played as a starter in every single game. Cody Clemens did his thing too. Shout out to him. No one else hit over 200. Like, you can't win a series by doing that. And the fact that you just didn't show up after getting time off to rest, recuperate, and I don't want to hear anybody talking about the bye week being a bad thing. The Phillies' plate approach was dog water from the jump outside of game 2, and then they never stayed on point with their plate approach that they needed to against this Mets team, where basically if you just take pitches, it's going to force them to throw strikes. If you take pitches against this Mets pitching staff, they're going to be forced to throw strikes, and the Phillies just failed to take strikes. They failed to take any pitches in this series. And it showed at-bat after at-bat after at-bat that they were just so undisciplined. They were swing happy. They were playing hero ball again that they played pretty much the entire second half of the season. And it brings into question, like, you know, what is the philosophy? What is the plan here? It sucks because I'm not even mad. And that's bad. I'm wildly disappointed in this team because 2 out of 3 of your major components did not come to play. And that is defense and offense. Your special teams, your pitching came to play. But your defense did not come to play. Made too many errors, too many mental mistakes, and your hitting was dog shit. Like, I don't know what happened to Alec Boehm in this series. Is it something with the hand that is still bothering? Maybe. He has not been the same since that happened. Brandon Marsh was a no-show in this series. JT Realmuto was a no-show in this series. Kyle Schwarber had a really good game 1 and then fell off the face of the earth. Bryson Stott had a great game 2 and a couple moments, but didn't really do anything mystical with the bat. Trey Turner, same thing, had a nice little game 2, and after that, game 1 and games 3 and 4 was terrible. The lackadaisical swinging, I genuinely, the more I've sat on this since the elimination, the more and more it's just like the Phillies, they felt overconfident. They felt like it was a given that they were going to advance, that the Mets could never take them down. And guess what? They made you look stupid. You look dumb. Look at who you were playing against in these games. Game 1, Zach Wheeler pitches a gem, and you fail him. Miserably fail him in that game, losing 6-2 when you get a pity run at the end. And I talked about this on an episode I did of Red October Radio that's available on the podcast feed. The bullpen implodes. Okay? You know, your bullpen is effectively your third phase, but they did not come to play either. And that is a wild red flag. You know, you did not show up whatsoever. You score 2 runs, and 1 in the first, 1 in the 9th, and the rest of the game, you go zeros. That's frustrating. Then in game 2, you win 7-6. You show a little guts. You show, hey, we're still in this thing. Game 3, you score 2 runs. You score 2 runs in the 8th inning after getting shut out the entire game. The Mets score 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and you never had anything going, and it's not even Aaron Nola's fault. Orion Kerkering comes in and gives up those runs, so Aaron Nola has the 4 earned against him. Jose Alvarado was bad in this one, gave up 2 runs in his appearance. It was not great in game 3. So you kind of wash that off, and you go into game 4. Backs against the wall. You score the 1 run in the 4th. You're on the board on a fielder's choice. Okay, you'll take it. And then you have Ranger Suarez pitching the game of his life in terms of just giving you everything. He's getting squeezed behind home plate. He's got a high pitch count, but goes 4 1/3, walks 4 guys, strikes out 8, only gives up 5 hits, mind you, gives up no earned runs. And then Jeff Hoffman comes in, pitches an inning, loads the bases, and then what you need is somebody who can pitch to contact. You need somebody who can get the ball on the ground and you turn a double play. But you bring in Carlos Estevez, and he launches a meatball down the middle, and Francisco Lindor ends the Phillies season on a grand slam. And the Phillies season comes to a close. And in total, outside of Game 2, the Phillies scored 5 runs. You scored 5 runs outside of Game 2. That's not going to win you playoff baseball games. You can't get by saying, oh, our pitching has been immaculate. Let's ride the coattails of our starting pitching. Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, they got us. The bullpen's been great all season. They got us. We don't have to score that many runs. The offense's approach was cocky. It was lackadaisical. It was embarrassing, to say the least. And I hope this team, all winter long, feels completely embarrassed by the way that they played in that series. For the first time in 13 years, you win the division. You're a favorite going into the postseason, and you go out sad. And why am I so passionate about this? Why am I so, just riled up about this? Oh, Kyle, it's not that bad. No, it is bad, because this team has put together pieces to go and win championships, not singular, not fluke out, not be like the run and forget to win the World Series. This team is built to win multiple titles, and you have fallen short for 3 straight years. And why does it hurt? Why do I feel so much disappointment for a team of guys who one of them I have met in my life, and that's Taijuan Walker, who was not even on this roster, but is a damn good fucking teammate, and I will link Alex Coffey's article in the description of this episode because it's a damn good read. Shout out to Alex. She does amazing work covering this team. Why does it hurt? Why am I disappointed? Because this team means the world to me. This organization means the world to me. The Philadelphia Phillies showed me, as a sports fan, when I was 15 years old. I had turned 15 on this day, back in 2008, what it was like to be a champion. This organization showed me, as a young, impressionable 15-year-old, hey, this is what it's like to be on top of the world. This is what it's like to be able to brag to your friends that your team won a championship. This is what ultimate glory feels like as a sports fan. That was my first taste, was with this organization, and it's left a huge impression on me. It's left a huge fandom impression on me. That 08 team will mean the world to me until my last breath on this earth. And sure, that came in 2008. It's 2024 now. I don't care. I want this team and this organization to experience that glory and be on top of the mountain every single year. I know there's a lot of people who are passionate like this about the Eagles, who are passionate about this, this passionate about the Flyers, about the Sixers, even the Union. This is how I am about the Phillies. I don't determine my mood every single day during the season on a win or a loss. Does it suck when they lose? Yes, but I know the next day they got me. And that goes from February in spring training all the way through to October, and sometimes we hope through November. Every day for an 8 to 9 month stretch, I know the Phillies got me every single day. Win, lose, or draw, they're going to be back the next day. And to see them go out like this sucks. And this team has gotten me through so much, especially over the last 2 years, that they mean a lot to me. And I don't care if it sounds sappy or lame or weak. I don't care. This franchise and this team and this group of players has meant the world to me and has gotten me through a lot of shit. Personally, mentally, emotionally, they have got me through a lot. Knowing that I can come back at 6:40 or 1:30 if it's a Sunday and say, hey, I got this group of baseball players that I'm going to sit down and for the next 2 to 3 hours kind of just escape and be one with the baseball and enjoy the sounds of the stadium and take my ass to Citizens Bank Park. And, you know, it's going to be a rainy Tuesday in April, but guess what? I'm gonna buy a ticket on a whim and go down to Citizens Bank Park when this team needs me and will this team to victory and give them my fandom, give them my support, and in turn watch Bryce Harper have a 3-home run game. Yeah, I did that in April. This team, like I say it all the time, if you know me, the Phillies are my top dog team in this city. And knowing what they have helped get me through, it's crazy that a sports franchise can do that for somebody. And to see this team that is littered with talent, littered with just good dudes, go out that sorry and go out that, like, just, it was embarrassingly hurts. It hurts in a lot of ways. Because now we all have to sit down and wait until February for pitchers and catchers to roll around. And that means we have to go through the daunted days of cold winters and more than likely Eagles disappointments and, you know, try to put our faith in the Sixers in January, but by March it comes to a halt. And then the Flyers are in the process of a rebuild, so you don't know what to expect from them. That's the hurt with this. This team is the most championship ready, and they fell wildly short of the marker this year. They lost their swagger and their mojo. I genuinely think after the London series, going to London changed this team. I don't know what it did, but as soon as they got back from London, oddly enough, against that stupid fucking New York Mets franchise, they were a different team. The approach was just bad. You know, it was like, oh, we expect them to have a slow series against the Red Sox coming back from London. We expect them to kind of be slow against the Orioles. That first week, it's going to take them a little bit to get back. They never got back. They never got back after playing in London. And I was at that game the day before the All-Star break. And it was just like, what are we doing? We're punting this game. And I will be the first to tell everyone here. If you think Rob Thomson deserves to be fired, you need to you're just telling on yourself that you don't know baseball. I'm sorry. If you think the manager in baseball is the issue with this team, you're kidding yourself. If you think the manager is responsible for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 7 superstars going cold at the plate, you're fooling yourself. If you think the manager is responsible for this bullpen that was littered with talent throughout the entire season, we were like, finally, we have a bullpen. For that bullpen to implode in the postseason is on the manager, you're kidding yourself. That's on the players. There's nothing else that you can blame this futile postseason run and the disappointment that it brought on anybody but the players wearing Phillies across their chest. That's who this is on. I think they took their foot off the gas pedal as soon as they got a 10-game lead over the Braves early in the season. They thought they were going to be in a dogfight with the Braves and maybe the Mets for most of the year, and the Braves just said, fuck it, we're done. And they lost their edge. This team lost their edge in June. And it was like, cool, they're winning games, like they're still alive. July's a bit of a slow. I said it on this show, it kind of reversed what they've done in years past, where in March, April, May, they start off slow. June, July, August, they pick it up. September, it's a little bumpy, but you're just trying to get to the postseason, and then boom, October, here we go. This year it was, we start fast in April and May. June, we're okay. July, we fall off a cliff. August, we're up and down. September, what are we doing? Just get to the playoffs. Okay, let's get a bye. Let's take some time off. And then October, you crash and burn into a wall. This is not on Rob Thomson. Rob Thomson should be back. Rob Thomson is single-handedly a huge reason why this franchise did not go into more turmoil in 2022, because Joe Girardi's dumbass didn't know how to manage baseball games anymore. Rob Thomson is responsible for the success of this team in so many ways, and I don't want to hear regular season baseball doesn't matter. It matters. Look at what Rob Thomson can do in the regular season. Has the postseason result been there? No, but again, the manager doesn't play the games. And everyone the last 2 years was knocking down doors saying they were pissed that Rob Thomson didn't do anything to change his lineup in the postseason. He didn't do anything to get creative. Well, guess what? He benched Alec Boehm in Game 2. He started Ranger Suarez in Game 4 when he could have started Zach Wheeler on short rest. He benched Bryson Stott in Game 3. He made moves. And you're still going to chastise him, because that's what you do. You yell at the clouds when things don't go your way. And guess what? At the end of the day, sure, maybe the buttons Rob Thomson pushed didn't go his way, but that's on the players. And some of this blame falls on Dave Dombrowski too. And I fully expect Dave Dombrowski to have he has a big offseason ahead of him. But you look back at how this season came to be and what this team needed. Dave Dombrowski did not push enough buttons at the trade deadline. He did not push enough buttons in the offseason to get this team where they needed to be. To go into this season with the starting pitching you had perfectly fine. You could not predict Taijuan Walker to fall off a cliff the way that he did. Spencer Turnbull getting injured was unfortunate. You can't predict that type of stuff. But when you go into the season with a bench that is comprised of a whole lot of nothing and Edmundo Sosa, that's a red flag, in my opinion. I was calling for it all offseason last winter. This team needs a bopper off the bench. This team needs a big bat off the bench. I wanted Teoscar Hernandez on this team. I wanted somebody who could bring pop off the bench like a Matt Stairs. I said it on this show. And we never got that. You went into the season with a bench that was Edmundo Sosa, Garrett Stubbs. Weston Wilson eventually gets called up. Cody Clemens. Buddy Kennedy gets called up. That's my guy. Shout out to him. Cal Stevenson. That is something that this team, if you're a championship contending team, you should be going after guys on the margins that are willing to play here because they know you're going to compete for a championship. This team doesn't. They haven't had the Jorge Soler or the Jock Peterson or the Teoscar Hernandez or the Adam Duvall type of player. And I'm not saying Adam Duvall is like a great player, but that type of guy who can come off the bench, supply you with 12 to 18 home runs during the year, hit around 240 to 250, and every couple days go and play left field for you. They don't have that. And that's a huge red flag. Like, Austin Hayes was a bad acquisition for this team. That dude cannot play baseball. That dude is bad at the sport of baseball. Estevez was fine here. He wasn't great. He didn't blow me away. Tanner Banks was fine here. But the fact that they couldn't go and get a Brian De La Cruz, that they couldn't get a Lane Thomas, that they couldn't get a Brant Rooker, that you couldn't go and get something other than Austin Hayes. And at the time, everyone felt extremely underwhelmed by the Austin Hayes move being the only bat that you go and get. It just felt it was eerie. It was an eerie trade deadline. And, I tweeted out all the trade deadline acquisitions that Dave Dombrowski has made since he's become the president of baseball operations for the Phillies in 2021. There is one guy who is still on this roster and one guy who made it past his trade deadline as a guy. Kyle Gibson was here, but how much do you want to... He wasn't, a key contributor really, but, since this run has started of postseason appearances, I should say, Kyle Gibson was traded for in 2021, was on the 2022 roster. So if you want to include him, sure. But outside of that, since this run has started, 2022 and beyond, one guy has been on this roster post him being acquired at the trade deadline, and that's Brandon Marsh. Every single player that you have acquired at the trade deadline has not been retained. And it's kind of a red flag to me. And I know the Joe Blantons and the Matt Stairs and the Hunter Pences and guys like that, they aren't available every year. But the fact that you've only been able to keep one guy here, can you imagine if this Phillies team had a Michael Lorenzen this year to fill in for Taijuan Walker, to fill in when Spencer Turnbull went down? I was banging hand over fist to bring Michael Lorenzen back. Even at the trade deadline, I was saying, bring him back. The fact that you couldn't trade for somebody, like I said, like a Brian De La Cruz, like somebody from the Rockies, like a Ryan McMahon. Like, you couldn't go to Texas and say, hey, what can we get for X player here that's a bench guy, because Texas was out of it. Brent Rooker, like I mentioned. You couldn't call up Toronto and see what they had to offer. There were so many teams that were out of it. And I know it's not that easy, but it was a weird trade deadline this year for the Phillies, and it feels like a wasted year. You win the most games since 2011 in franchise history. You win the division for the first time in 13 years, and
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
And I'm not saying the full season was a waste. This regular season was so much fun in a lot of ways. Okay? And I am the first to tell everyone this. It sucks from a postseason perspective. The culmination of this season was a failure. But the season itself was a ton of fun. You win the division. Flags fly forever. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Flags fly forever. That 2024 Division Champs banner flies out there always. How hard it is to win a division in baseball is crazy unless you are like the Astros, okay? When you're in a division that is so lukewarm, it's ridiculous. Winning your division is an accomplishment. And the Phillies did it for the first time in 13 years. That's an accomplishment. And I will never take that away from them. You as fans should never take that away from them. That is a huge win for this organization. You win 95 games. That's awesome. You have a ton of milestone moments this year. You have a ton of different memories and moments this year with this team. You have Alec Bohm in the home run derby. You have the most all-stars in franchise history. You have a stellar rotation. Christopher Sanchez turns into a star. There's so much to be happy and optimistic about from this season. And there are a lot of question marks still about this team, the future of this team, what is to come, this offseason. This team could look very different. But to sit here and say the season as a whole was a failure is silly in a lot of aspects. The culmination of the season was a failure. And if you say that, I can say, hey, that's fair. But there's a lot of moments this season that we'll look back on and we will, enjoy forever. The Nick Castellanos walk-off hits all season long were unbelievable. Another one in the postseason. Game 2 of this series, while the series didn't go our way, Game 2 was an instant classic in Phillies postseason history. This team had moments, and it sucks that it came to an abrupt halt. And it sucks that it comes to your hated rival. And I know the last couple of years we've poured our energy into hating the Atlanta Braves. Rightfully so. They are a big-time rival. They are the biggest excuse makers in the game. Their fans are. Their manager is. Some of their players are. There are a lot of talk and a lot of bark, no bite from a lot of players on that roster. But that rivalry is fun. But I think this series really showed you that we fucking hate the New York Mets. And I think we've lost that a lot over the years because our energy has been so focused on the Braves because of the postseason. And it's going to this division going into 2025 has gotten that much more toxic. This is the most toxic division in baseball. I know the Dodgers and Padres exist. The Giants are nobodies right now. They don't scare anybody. The Diamondbacks they were a flash in the pan, in my opinion. When you have Phillies, Braves, Mets now where they are, and god damn is it going to be great when the Mets get humbled, miss out on the World Series, and then next year they fucking stink. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And I need it like I need oxygen. But this series has really enhanced how toxic this division is going to be for years to come, how difficult this division is going to be to win for years to come, and how much of a bragging right it will be to win the division. And then it will be on your team to show up in the playoffs, coming off a bye, to show why winning the division is a plus. because it is. Getting time off to rest and get healthy is a plus. It is on you as a player and you as a team of players to step up and not lose your approach to the plate. So where do we go from here, guys? Red October, more like Dead October or Dread October. It sucks. You know, it sucks that I was at game 2, lost my voice, rightfully so, and that was the last time I'll walk through the gates at Citizens Bank Park until opening day. And you're probably like, Kyle, it's not that long. That's so hoity-toity. I don't give a fuck, man. Do you understand? Like, baseball is a sport that just, it rings in anew. You know, when springtime rolls around, it's like, oh, the dark days of the cold winter are over. You know, the sun's going to be out more. I love baseball season. It is the best time of year. That whole stretch. Spring training rolls around, you start hearing pitches hitting catcher's gloves. Ugh. It's the best sound in the world because it's a sign that sunshine is on its way. A new season is on its way. And I love spending time at Citizens Bank Park, man. Citizens Bank Park is the most beautiful stadium in Major League Baseball. It is the most beautiful park out there. And I haven't been to all of them. I won't say I've been to all of them. I've been to a few. There's some great stadiums out there in baseball. Citizens Bank Park is the best. And it just sucks that, you know, you don't know when your last time at the ballpark will be for a given season. And we won't be back at Citizens Bank Park until April. You know? What is the Phillies 2025 schedule? Let's see. You know, the Phillies season opening schedule is also very weird. In 2025, so I want to get this correct as well. But like the Phillies open the season on the road. So, you know, we're not even going to get a full send, you know, way to kick off the season properly. Phillies home opener is Monday, March 31st. Monday, March 31st is the next time anyone will be watching a game at Citizens Bank Park. Which sucks. And then Wednesday, April 2nd, is opening night at Citizens Bank Park. And your first weekend series, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's a bummer. It's a bummer that March 31st. Let's see. How long is March 31 from now? Shut up, phone. From this recording, as I sit here on Sunday recording this, obviously, but from 10/9, let's say, which is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So an additional 5 days. We're like 175 days away from the home opener. That feels like forever, man. It feels like forever. Before I keep going, though, I do want to shout out some awesome people. Our friends over at FOCO, who are genuinely the best in the game. It was fitting that on Game 4 day, my shortalls came in. But I'll have those for next season, which will be nice to have during the summer months and a new wardrobe to wear to games that I'm very excited about. But FOCO, the leaders in the Forever Collectibles game, From those beautiful overalls, they've got the velour tracksuits for your Philadelphia Eagles. They've got neon lights that we need to get a Phillies and Eagles one for down here in the studio for sure. And they just introduced a brand new bobblehead that's coming out that we'll have in the studio soon, that they're sending us one, which I'm super thankful for. It's Brian Dawkins holding the Brian Dawkins bobblehead. FOCO is genuinely the leader in everything fandom. Click the link in the description. Get your Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, apparel, collectibles, you name it. It's all available at the link in the description. And we thank FOCO for being proud partners of this podcast now for 2 years. They hopped on board with us last year, right around Red October. And it's been a full year now that FOCO's been on board with us and doing content with us. And we're super thankful for our friends over at FOCO. So click that link in the description and, spruce up your forever collectibles, your apparel, and your game day fits with our friends over at FOCO. And the news I was telling everybody about at the top of the show that I am super, super excited about. We have a new partner at Underground Sports Philadelphia, and that is Paramount Plus. We are a Paramount Plus podcast here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm so pumped about this, and for everyone at home who doesn't know what Paramount Plus is, you are missing out. It is formerly, back in the day, way back in the day, Paramount Plus has been around for a while now, but if you don't know, CBS All Access is now Paramount Plus. An expansion of CBS All Access as you know it, but with even more content and features. Watch tens of thousands of episodes on demand from CBS, BET, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., and the Smithsonian Channel. You can stream even more exclusive originals, movies, and live sports when you sign up for Paramount Plus with Showtime, and enjoy the growing collection of Paramount Plus originals. Stream your local CBS station live, including live sports like the NFL on CBS and UEFA. Get 24/7 live news with CBSN and CBSN Local. You can cancel or change at any time. Click the link in the description and sign up for Paramount Plus today. Stream the NFL on CBS Live all season long on Paramount Plus. Click that link. Sign up for Paramount Plus. Stream the NFL with our friends at Paramount Plus. Amazing. Paramount Plus genuinely has one of the best back catalogs of content from Nickelodeon, and you get all your vintage 90s Nicktoons and everything, to some awesome movies that are available on there. The catalog that Paramount Plus has the ultimate bang for your buck, and I'm super excited about this partnership. Survivor is available. Every season of Survivor is available on Paramount Plus. DJ has started watching Survivor a ton, and we might be starting Buffs and Snuffs the podcast because of it. And Paramount Plus is the way to watch it. But, of course, stream the NFL on Paramount Plus on CBS Live all season long. Stream the NFL on CBS Live all season long on Paramount Plus. Try it for free, or get a subscription with our link. Sign up for Paramount Plus, and genuinely the biggest bang for your buck in a streaming service out there. Thank you to Paramount Plus for hopping on board with us, and we can't wait to see where this partnership goes, because there's a ton of content that Paramount Plus has to offer that we are so pumped to have them on the network with us. So stream the NFL on Paramount Plus all season long with our link. Sign up for Paramount Plus now. Can cancel at any time, but sign up and watch the NFL on Paramount Plus. Where do we go from here, guys? Where do we go from here? Andrew Painter's pitching in the Arizona Fall League, so that's fun. We can get ready for that. The Eagles are coming off a bye. Who knows what that team is going to bring us? Flyers are back. Optimistic October is underway for sure. And the Sixers, how are they going to hurt us this year? like I said, this sucks. It's never good, and you know, we have noticed a trend year over year. You know, over the past few years, even years that the Phillies have not made the postseason, but since we've started this podcast, when the Phillies are succeeding, it's a benefit for this company. You guys who listen to this show are huge Phillies fans, and you listen during Phillies season at an exorbitant rate, and we appreciate that so much that you come to us for your Phillies content. So when the Phillies go out of the postseason early like this, it sucks for business. You know, it sucks that we got one playoff round, 4 games of Red October, and now it's kaput. But genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody who tunes into our Phillies coverage. We still have a bunch of videos that will be throwback videos from the season that we started that series, Thoughts from 329, that will pop up on our Instagram and TikTok and YouTube shorts in the coming weeks that are a lot of fun. There was one from this game that was great. But yeah, I mean, this season, it brought so much. There was so much that I'll remember about the 2024 Phillies season, and it's a huge boost for this company when the Phillies are good, and that's great. You know, for me as a diehard Phillies fan to know that the company I started does well when my favorite team does well is awesome. Okay? There's nothing that can beat that. And I'm genuinely thankful for everybody that tunes in, that interacts with our content during Philly season. I hope you stick around for the Eagles, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Philadelphia Wings, who we have unprecedented access with. More Water Dog stuff in the summer as well. The Union, we're working on getting some stuff figured out and how we want to approach coverage with them after this season comes to a close for them. But genuinely, thank you guys who all support us during Philly season. It means the world. And genuinely, like I said, this hurts and it's disappointing because I care. I know all of you care, and that's why it hurts and disappoints you. This team means the world to me, and this franchise means the world to me. And I am very much like John Middleton. I want that fucking trophy back in Philadelphia. And I can't wait for the day that we're sitting here doing a Phillies just won the World Series podcast, that we're gearing up for a parade. It will be an awesome day, and it will make a lot of this hurt go away again. And hopefully 2025 is that year. Hopefully, we get over the mountaintop and we're back on top of baseball and baseball supremacy. But as my good friend Grim, death awaits. That's all it is right now. It's dead October. There's a lot of stuff that I am working on with the Phillies in the off season, though, that I'm hoping can come to fruition. Fingers crossed. And I mean, this season too, for me, I was a adjacent part of Phillies media this year. That's crazy for me to sit back and think about. It was this time a week ago, right? When was that first game? October 5th. October 3rd, I was sitting on a conference call, press conference with Rob Thomson in this very seat. I'm genuinely, it's mind-blowing that, we started this show in 2018, and here in 2024, we're at where we're at, and I can't thank the Phillies organization enough for embracing us and giving us access to things that, in my wildest dreams, I would have never thought would have been possible, especially at this point in our journey. It sucks that it's very fitting, actually, that this season got started with me having food poisoning, and I missed out on going to Philly's sneak peek day at the ballpark. And then it ends with me putting a bow on this unfortunate end to the season, getting sick. I was supposed to be at Philly Sneak Peek Day this year to kind of see all the new stuff that was going to be at the ballpark. That was going to be my first soiree into Phillies media this year. And I wake up with food poisoning, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then I was on multiple press conference calls with Brian Barber during the Major League Baseball draft and prior to it. And that was like, holy crap, like pinch me moment. And then on October 3rd, I was on a press conference call with Rob Thomson. And that was like, pinch me. I asked Rob a question, and I will never take that for granted whatsoever. And I'm so thankful to the Phillies organization for giving us that opportunity, giving me that opportunity, and allowing our company to be recognized as Phillies media. And I hope it only continues to grow in 2025. And we're working on pitching a lot of stuff to the Phillies. I'll say that hopefully can come to fruition and be a huge staple of this company, because we love the Phillies. They are genuinely the best. I've met John Middleton a couple of times now, and he is genuinely the nicest person ever. And, there's a lot to look forward to with this team, even while a season like this ends in disappointment. There's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to be optimistic about. This team is still very much in its prime. And on to spring training 2025 we go. Oh, it sucks. I hate the Mets. But again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to our listeners and viewers for a wonderful 2024 Phillies season of interaction. Thank you to the Phillies organization for so many opportunities that they afforded us. And here's to 2025, and hopefully a lot more to come between Underground Sports Philadelphia and the Phillies. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. We have a big presence over there as well. Follow us on LinkedIn, and of course you can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and on Instagram and Threads at KBIZZLE11. Subscribe to the pod on Apple and Spotify. And like I said at the top of the show, we did get an email from Spotify saying that there's an issue with distribution to Spotify from our host site, which is SoundCloud. So if you don't see this episode on Spotify, don't fret. We are working to see when it gets uploaded. They said they will inform us when. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But you can listen on Apple. You can listen on a whole bunch of different platforms. And you can also watch the show on YouTube, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment down below. And click that bell icon so you know when new videos go live. We're 151 subscribers away from 1,000. Let's get there, guys. Let's complete the Kanto Pokedex of subscribers. And leave us a voicemail. It's linked in the description, or go to speakpipe.com/undergroundsportsphiladelphia and leave us a voicemail. Let us hear your thoughts on this Phillies season. What are some highs, lows, and in-betweens that, stick out to you from 2024? But leave us a voicemail whenever about your favorite teams. The voicemail line is always open, and we'll play them on the show whenever we get them in. And of course, guys, this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. And their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you are considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 680, a dead October episode of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. You'll have another episode in your feed later on today talking about the Eagles, the Flyers, and a whole lot more. But until then, cheers to the Phils and an unfortunate end to the season. I'll see you guys next time. I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.